let's talk about some simple DIY options for creating sketchbooks. Typically, you're going to want to keep those sketchbooks a little bit smaller, like a 9 by 12 inch or something even smaller than that, because when you're making something, if it gets too large, it's going to be a little bit cumbersome. You might want to think ahead too when you're doing your budgeting or your ordering for the year to make sure that you have enough supplies for your sketchbooks, especially if you're going to be providing the paper for the inside of the sketchbooks. If you have 500 students and they have even just 10 sheets of paper on the inside, that's really going to add up. So you'll need to make sure that you account for those big reams of paper that you need to get for your students. You can keep it kind of simple too and maybe go with a lighter weight, like a 50-pound paper, instead of doing something super thick so that it doesn't take up as much space and so you can save a little bit of money on trying to get the paper for all your students. You might also want to get things like elastic, string, duct tape, and some binding options if you're going to be doing some DIY versions, because you'll want to make sure that those sketchbooks last you the entire year. We also use pretty thick paper cover just to help cover our entire sketchbook. So we will sometimes double back things so that it's really nice and thick, or you can even have students bring in a thick piece of cardboard or a cardboard cereal box that they can use to make their sketchbooks from the very beginning. So let me show you 4 simple ideas for some DIY sketchbooks. The first one is pretty simple. It's just a half-sheet mini sketchbook. So it looks something like this. You can design the cover and the back however you'd like. It's just a simple sheet of paper, and then there's some tiny little pieces on the inside, and it is just held together with staples. This is a super speedy version, and if you don't see your students very often and you don't want to make really massive sketchbooks, a little half sheet is perfect. It's also great for if you want to take them on adventures, maybe you want to go outside with your sketchbooks or have them work in the hallways, because it's a smaller piece of paper and it's something that might be easier to hold. The second idea here is what we actually use in our classroom, and those are elastic band sketchbooks. So this is an example of one that I've had all year, and I'll show you how to make this as well. But typically, to make our sketchbook, we start at the beginning of the year by doing some really decorative covers. So we'll decorate the cover, we'll also fold over a little bit of duct tape around the outside so that we have a nice thick spine, and then we'll use one big loop of elastic around the inside. So if you go to the middle here, you can see that elastic band, and what's really nice about this elastic style sketchbook is that when students start to run out of paper, instead of having to worry about stapling in more paper, you literally just slide in another piece. So when a student says, "Hey, Miss K, I don't have any more paper left," I'll say, "Cool, let me get you some," and we slide it in like a little taco and it's good to go. So we don't need to worry about adding more paper pretty difficultly or having to worry about if there's extra paper, maybe just using it for the next year. So the elastic tip for this kind of really quick supply is pretty easy. We also have a few other things that help with this elastic sketchbook, like a quick label on the front so that we can always see the class code. And as you noticed, even just color coding your sketchbooks for your students will be easier for you to grab them and for their students to grab them, because you're always going to say, all right, 3rd grade is green, I know that. And lastly, another little trick for this one is a little pocket in the back. So if you make a folder by just doing some stapling on the inside, if they have any loose sheets like coloring sheets or something else that might be kind of loose, you can tuck it in the back and it'll be easier than just setting it inside their sketchbook and hoping that it doesn't fall out. The last part about this one, because this is exactly what we do, is to include our coloring sheet mantra, which I'll talk about in a little bit as well. But really having some components that are going to give them some ownership over their sketchbooks. Another kind of easy, simple sketchbook to make is a single-page sketchbook. And this is a great way to make something really small. So this is an example of a single-page sketchbook. And in here, you'll find 8 back-to-back sides, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes all the way to the end. So it's a pretty small version, which you can even do as an art project if you don't take it on as a sketchbook specifically. And you can modify that slightly to do something like this, which would be more of an accordion fold paper, where you can kind of tape it together, or you can kind of adhere them, glue them together like a batch so that you've got this sort of accordion fold sketchbook. To make the 1-page, single-page sketchbook, all you need to do is take one big sheet of paper. So this is a 12 by 18 sheet of paper, and I'm going to fold it in the middle first like this, and then fold the other side so it kind of makes a W. So I'm going to come back out the other way towards the middle, flip it over, come back the other way towards the middle, and you can see that my fold makes a W, right, like that. Then I'm gonna fold it in half again so I can get that crease so I know where to cut. Then when I open it all up, I'm gonna cut just down to this little intersection right here. So while it's folded, Cut carefully on that intersection. And then when you pop it open, you can kind of just do this little finagling, whoop, and it becomes an X. Crease it down a little bit. And I went kind of quick, but basically you've got 4 sheets of paper, even if you glue those together, with this sketchbook that's a super tiny, quick way to make a 1-page sketchbook. The last one that we're gonna talk about is a folder sketchbook. And you can have students bring in their own folders or collect things like manila folders that could be a great harder cover for a sketchbook. So I've added a few sheets of paper in here, and then simply you could do things like hole punches and string to connect, or keep it simple and just staple in sheets of paper. You can even do that elastic band trick and make an elastic band go around the outside and then slide in those new sheets of paper as your students start to run out. So those are just 4 simple DIY options, but let's talk a little bit more about some special DIY options.